Guess what time of the year it is?
Yep, it's my favourite time of the year again, folks. And it's also the time for Thomascember for the 5th year in a row.
Now I know it's been a very short series of Thomascember recently, what with just one series and one special each year. So I thought I'd spice things up a little bit this year. But I thought, what could I review that isn't from series 8 to 16? And then it hit me. Why not review some of the video games I've played?
Yeah, the video games are something that I never covered before in Thomascember. And I think they deserve some acknowledgement. They gave the fans of the show as much pleasure as the TV series and the movie did. Whether it be a Super Nintendo game or a PC CD-ROM game, I'm going to be reviewing video games as well as this year's series and special.
There's just a few things to keep in mind here. This is only going to be restricted to the video games that I played as a kid, as well as Series 19 and The Great Race. So with all that said, sit back, relax and enjoy Thomascember for 2016.
Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends Adventures series was released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in 1993.
In fact, I'm such a loon that I actually still got the copy of the game right here. And it still works too.
It was also released for the Sega Mega Drive Genesis with different gameplay. It was developed by Software Creations and published by THQ. After the title screen, you're given the option on what difficulty you want to play, besides how easy or hard you want to play it. The only major difference is that with the harder level you get an extra story with no narration track. And the activities on the game include the sliding puzzle, setting the switches, the jigsaw puzzle, Let's Race Bertie, Fits in the Tracks, Let's Race Percy, Let's Go with Thomas, and Thomas's Quiz.
The whole game is basically a various activities game. And that's fine for little kids, but when you're an adult who grew up with it, then it's not exactly as appealing as you remember it to be.
The sliding puzzle is, as what it says in the title, where they give you a different picture each time for a different scene from the show, and you have to push buttons to make it slide to make the picture look like as it is. Setting the switches is also like it says in the title. Setting some switches on the tracks so that you can get to the station. And a high five for the person who can guess what the jigsaw puzzle is. The Let's Race games are basically racing games where you can play as Thomas and race against Bertie and Percy. Now the Bertie one makes sense because Thomas used to race Bertie in the Classic series, and in the Andrew Brenner series as well. Anybody want to guess what Fits in the Tracks is? Anyone? Let's Go with Thomas is the stage that I always found the most entertaining when I was a kid. It was basically choosing one of the stories you were given to read along with the robot voice. For easy and medium you had Thomas and the Breakdown Train and Thomas and Bertie. But when you go to the harder setting, you get those two stories and Thomas, Percy and the Post Train. And that's the story that comes with no narration track. So basically that story just gets you to read the story yourselves. And Thomas's Quiz is a quiz game where you answer questions that are based on the story you've read. Or if you've just gone straight to Thomas's Quiz before reading the story, it just gives you any random story and you've got to guess. But if you're a TV fan nerd like I am, then you'll know the answers to the questions right away. And because I still got the Super Nintendo Entertainment System working from my childhood, I fired up the old game and played it to see what it was like now that I'm an adult. And it's honestly nothing special when you're an adult. But it is a fun activity game for the kids.
If you still have a working Super Nintendo Entertainment System and have kids that love Thomas the Tank Engine, then I definitely recommend this game for your kids. If they love Thomas the Tank Engine, I'm sure they're going to love this game.
So if you're a Thomas fan and have kids of your own, then I would definitely recommend this game for anyone who has kids of their own that love Thomas the Tank Engine. They'll get some enjoyment out of it, and I guess adults will get some enjoyment out of it watching their kids have fun with it too.